Beyond the iconic kicks and punches, what truly defines Bruce Lee's lasting legacy? This video dives into the global impact of his philosophy and artistry, revealing how his influence continues to shape martial arts and entertainment today. Bruce Lee was more than just a martial artist. He was a force, a revolution in motion, an idea made flesh. From the moment he stepped onto the screen, from the instant his fists moved like lightning and his voice thundered like conviction, the world changed. He didn't just bring kung fu to Hollywood, he brought a philosophy that challenged how we see ourselves, how we move, how we think, and even how we fight, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, and culturally. To truly understand Bruce Lee's global impact, you have to rewind to a time when Asian faces on Western screens were rare and often reduced to caricatures. Lee shattered that mold. He didn't just appear, he exploded onto the scene, demanding attention not just with his skill, but with his presence. There was something about the way he looked into the camera. A kind of defiance. A challenge. A refusal to be ignored. In Hong Kong, where he was born, Bruce was already a child actor long before he became the legendary martial artist we know today. But his real impact began when he went to America. There, amidst a country writhing in racial tension and cultural misunderstanding, Bruce began to plant the seeds of something extraordinary. He began teaching martial arts to people from all races, something controversial at the time. But Lee didn't believe in racial boundaries. He believed in truth. He believed in expression. And above all, he believed in the human potential. His creation of Jeet Kune Do wasn't just about combat, it was about liberation. Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own. That wasn't just martial advice. That was life advice. That was a blueprint for living authentically in a world that constantly tries to box people in. When Bruce began appearing on American television, first in The Green Hornet as Kato, audiences got a taste of something new. Fast. Sharp. Intelligent. Dangerous. But even then, Hollywood didn't quite know what to do with him. He was too good. Too fast. Too non-Western. They minimized his role. They undervalued his genius. So Bruce took matters into his own hands. He went back to Hong Kong and turned himself into an icon. Not with help. Not with permission. But with pure fire. With films like The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, and Way of the Dragon, he didn't just entertain, he awakened a continent. His characters fought against injustice, colonialism, racism. His fists spoke louder than words, and his message reached beyond martial arts schools and theaters. He became a symbol for the oppressed. A hero to those who had none. And when Enter the Dragon came out, it wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural detonation. Suddenly, martial arts studios began popping up all over the United States. Suddenly, young black, Latino, and white kids wanted to move like Bruce. To think like Bruce. To be like Bruce. He wasn't just an Asian star, he was a global revolution. He showed that someone from the East could not only stand on equal ground with Western heroes, but surpass them. That shattered stereotypes across borders. That changed how Hollywood cast roles, told stories, and treated diversity, slowly, yes, but undeniably. And yet, his influence wasn't confined to the screen. It seeped into philosophy classrooms, into business seminars, into fitness culture. His writings, though few, became gospel for those seeking clarity in chaos. He spoke of water, how it flows, how it adapts, how it crashes. Be like water, he said. And the world listened. That phrase has become immortal, quoted in fields as diverse as sports, leadership, mindfulness, and even tech startups. Bruce Lee became the patron saint of innovation, of reinvention, of resilience. In the realm of martial arts, Bruce did something even greater, he unified disciplines. Before him, styles were rigid, divided, often tribal. Jeet Kune Do challenged that. It forced masters to question their traditions. It sparked debates that still rage today. Was JKD the first true MMA? Many believe it was. He sparred with boxers, studied fencing, incorporated judo and wrestling. He wasn't bound by loyalty to any single school, his loyalty was to effectiveness. That idea, that truth in combat mattered more than form, has since shaped everything from UFC octagons to military combat training. But perhaps Bruce's deepest impact was spiritual. Millions found a kind of guidance in his words that they never found in religion, education, or politics. He was a martial artist, yes, but also a poet. A thinker. A seeker. He wrestled with identity, mortality, ego. He taught people to look inward, to break limitations, to fight not just others, but themselves, their fears, their weaknesses, their excuses. Even his death became a moment that shook the globe. It was sudden. Shocking. He was just 32. But that early passing only crystallized his myth. Like James Dean or Tupac or Kurt Cobain, Bruce Lee became immortal not despite his short life, but because of it. The fire was so bright, so intense, that it burned into our cultural memory forever. Around the world, Bruce statues stand in parks and plazas. Murals of his face adorn alleyways in Brazil, rooftops in China, subways in New York. His face is tattooed on fighters and artists alike. His daughter Shannon Lee continues his legacy with the Bruce Lee Foundation. His image appears in memes, documentaries, comic books, and even AI-generated tributes. He's transcended being a man. He's become a symbol. A lens through which people understand courage, discipline, and freedom. In Africa, young martial artists name their dojos after him. In Eastern Europe, Bruce Lee fan clubs meet regularly to analyze his films and philosophy. In Latin America, where inequality and street violence often shape the lives of children, his story of inner strength and self-mastery offers hope. In India, he remains one of the most recognized international figures, with Bollywood stars openly crediting him as inspiration for action cinema. But perhaps Bruce Lee's greatest legacy is not what he did, but what he made others believe they could do. He didn't just fight on screen, he fought against invisibility, against the limits placed on him by race, by geography, by prejudice. And by doing so, he gave others permission to break their own limits. Bruce Lee lives in every underdog story. Every moment someone steps into the ring against the odds. Every time someone dares to be different, to be fluid like water, to reject labels and follow truth. Every time someone picks up a pen, or steps on a mat, or faces their own fears and says, "I will not be limited." In today's digital world, his impact grows even stronger. YouTube channels dissect his fight scenes frame by frame. Instagram pages post his quotes daily. TikTok trends show kids emulating his moves. His philosophy gets repackaged as motivational content. His face appears on merchandise from Tokyo to London to Lagos. Bruce Lee, the man, may be gone. But Bruce Lee, the movement, is very much alive. And it goes deeper than fandom. His life sparked research into biomechanics, into combat psychology, into the limits of human motion. Scientists have studied his punches. Trainers use his core strength techniques. Even the US military has acknowledged the practicality of his principles in hand-to-hand combat. Bruce Lee. And then there's the philosophy again, the deeper layer. His journals, published posthumously, reveal a man constantly seeking alignment between mind and body. He spoke about self-actualization years before it became a buzzword. He practiced meditation, studied Krishnamurti, read Nietzsche. He wasn't trying to impress. He was trying to understand. And that purity, that relentless quest for self-mastery, radiates through his every move, his every word. Bruce Lee's global impact isn't static. It evolves. With every new generation, he is rediscovered, reinterpreted, remixed. A young girl in Ethiopia watching Enter the Dragon for the first time. A teenage boy in Detroit reading Tao of Jeet Kune Do. A 40-year-old woman in Manila returning to martial arts because of a quote she read online. Each one carries a spark of that legacy forward. And perhaps that's the truest mark of greatness. Not just fame. Not just skill. But influence. Ripples that move through time, changing people, awakening strength, reminding the world that inside each of us, there is a warrior waiting to be set free. Bruce Lee showed the world that your background doesn't define you. That discipline can outmatch privilege. That expression can outlive oppression. That even one man, if he's true to his purpose, can ignite a global movement. That's his legacy. That's his impact. And that's why, more than 50 years later, we still whisper his name with awe, still watch his moves with wonder, still read his words with reverence. Because Bruce Lee wasn't just a fighter. He was a flame. And the world still burns with the light he left behind. Bruce Lee wasn't just a martial artist, he was a cultural lightning bolt. A revolutionary who kicked down not just opponents, but entire stereotypes. Born in San Francisco, raised in Hong Kong, and later returning to America, Bruce Lee grew up caught between cultures. And that tension became his superpower. He made it okay to be Asian in Hollywood. At a time when Asian characters were sidekicks or jokes, Bruce stepped up with the confidence of a lead and the philosophy of a monk. Every time he punched, every time he spoke, he challenged the world to see him not just as a martial artist, but as a human being of depth, intelligence, and power. When The Big Boss exploded in Asia, he became a regional legend. But it wasn't until Enter the Dragon that Bruce Lee became a global symbol. That film didn't just showcase his physical brilliance, it was a message. A declaration. That cinema could be a platform for cultural exchange, not exploitation. But Bruce Lee's legacy goes beyond cinema. He wasn't just an actor. He was a philosopher, a writer, a teacher. His martial art, Jeet Kune Do, wasn't just about fighting. It was about freeing yourself from style, from limits. Be like water, he said. Flow. Adapt. Crash. That single metaphor has inspired athletes, CEOs, soldiers, artists, millions who never even stepped into a dojo. In the black community in America, Bruce became a cultural icon. Not just for his skill, but for how he represented strength and dignity in a world stacked against him. In Latin America, his movies were shown in packed theaters where kids dreamed of one day moving like him. In India, he became a godlike figure, inspiring generations of Bollywood actors to train in martial arts. Even today, decades after his death, his influence hasn't faded, it's grown. Type his name into any platform. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. His clips still go viral. His quotes still give people goosebumps. His image is still on murals, t-shirts, posters, tattoos. His words are repeated in gyms, on stages, and even in boardrooms. Because Bruce Lee wasn't just a fighter. He was a mindset. The UFC exists in part because Bruce Lee showed that no single style is supreme. He was MMA before MMA had a name. His belief that combat should be real, not theatrical, has become the gold standard in modern martial arts. But what really sets Bruce apart is how deeply he affected the spirit of people. He made you feel strong, capable, focused. Whether you were a poor kid in Detroit or a businessman in Tokyo, Bruce Lee made you believe in your power. He was a bridge. Between East and West. Between philosophy and action. Between body and mind. His daughter, Shannon Lee, now runs the Bruce Lee Foundation, keeping his legacy alive. But truthfully, his real legacy is alive every time someone stands up to fight their limits, to face fear, to rise above the labels placed on them. Bruce Lee proved that one person, if committed to truth, can change the entire world. And that impact? It's still growing. Every day.